Welcome to this live feed. How are we? This one's an interesting one this evening or this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are in the world. We're speaking to men. We're speaking to the strength of men and the misconception that we have around masculine strength and masculine power, male power and male strength. And here it is. This is the society that we are creating for ourselves. This is where we're becoming disconnected from self. This is where we're not really taking ownership of exactly what it is we're experiencing or choose to experience or really wish to feel and experience in life. And here it is. We see men, and for the large part, many men are strong, physically strong and robust and physically adept, and they have musculature and they have a grand stature. And Matthew, how are you, my brother? And they look strong. Now, I spent most of my life looking strong, feeling strong, physically strong. My nervous system was strong. My muscles were strong, for lack of a better description. I was just a strong person, physically, on the exterior. But I was weak. I was weak inside. And this isn't a judgment or a critique towards myself. This is an observation. I was weak because I was unable to be authentic with me. I was untrue to myself. I was dishonest in my relationships, and I was dishonest to myself. And I had this exterior, this strong exterior, and I still do have a strong exterior. It's just, well, some of my friends may beg to differ on that. We tease each other sometimes when we train together, but that's another story. But I had this strong exterior, have this strong exterior. And back then, years ago, I didn't know how to really manage my internal self, my emotions. And this strong exterior I was building it for the wrong reasons, or I was building it for inauthentic reasons. I was building it to protect myself, to guide myself through life, to ignore the pain and the fear that I was feeling. And a lot of that was unconscious pain and fear. A lot of that pain and fear was disconnected, unconscious pain and fear. And I didn't realize who I was truly being in the world. And I didn't want to address these painful issues. I didn't want to address these fears that I was experiencing. I didn't want to address this darkness within myself. I'm just getting myself a juice, so pardon me as I move through. Thank you very much. So I was experiencing this strength in the body, and I would, instead of turning to drugs or turning to alcohol, the way I was avoiding myself, my inner self, my pain, my fear, the way I was avoiding who I was through exercise, through hard physical training. I would take my mind and my body to places that were dark places, hard places, painful places. So I was replacing this emotional, physical pain that really I needed to experience and touch upon in order to be more whole in life instead of being fractured and fragmented. And I was putting that pain into the physical body and justifying my value in the world. I was justifying my worth in the world through being connected to the physical. Now, there's nothing wrong with being connected to the physical. Being in the physical body and in the physical self is actually really powerful. And in fact, it's super healthy. But intention is important here. Johnny, how are you, brother? Congratulations on the birth of your baby as well. So, men, we look at men, society looks at men, they see these strong men, these very powerful men, physically dominant men, and we think, okay, they're strong, they are clear, they are authentic, they are honest, they understand themselves, they don't. Now, I'm generalizing, I'll speak for myself. I work with a lot of men all the time. Large groups, individuals, and I see these strong men that have a very powerful exterior, and they're so lost and disconnected within themselves. They're so lost and hurt within themselves. And this is who I was. I was running away from my fears. I was running away from my pain points. I was running away from valuable teachings and lessons that I need to really grasp and learn. And it wasn't until I decided to go deep into that and I stopped listening to what the outside world was saying. I stopped listening to saying, oh, well, you're a strong man, therefore you're strong in your emotional body, you're strong in your relationships, you're strong with yourself, you're strong with the way you handle problems and so forth, to some extent. But I was in avoidance. I was separating myself. I was continuing to fracture and fragment myself. And I was breaking myself more and more every time I moved further and further away from speaking my truth to myself, from not addressing these pain points, these issues that I really needed to address in order to get clear with who I was and what I wanted in life, to be more purposeful, to be more clear, to extract that presence that I knew I had but I couldn't quite connect to in the world. This is really interesting. So as men, we want to have a powerful presence in the world. We want to accentuate our presence from a meaningful and authentic way. We want to contribute. We want to place meaning to our lives and to the context and the lives of others as well, not just our own. So when we do this, when we actively, consciously choose to be better versions of self, to be more connected versions of self, what happens is we grow profoundly. And instead of just being strong in the exterior, we're able to be strong and resilient and robust and adaptable and attentive to the interior as well. Our interior emotional infrastructure is something that we have to pay attention to as men. And we often don't do that. Women out there in this live feed right now, as you're listening to this, do you know men that are strong physically on the outside but lack the integrity, the emotional fitness, the emotional intelligence on the inside? Are you familiar with men that perhaps you have seen move through so much physical pain, yet when it comes to emotionally relating and connecting contextually in that sense, there's nothing there? So how do we move through this? That's the answer. Well, not the answer, that's the journey, is moving through, is being attentive, is having a willingness to explore. We take this strength that we apply to our exterior lives, to this physical presence that we have as men, and we bring that presence into our interior lives. And it's a journey. And in Reclaim Your Kingdom, I teach this. I go deeply into this and how we show up as men in the world, how we show up as human beings, how we show up to ourselves, how we show up to others. And the only way to show up to any situation, to anyone in the world, is to have gone and explored the chasms of one's being, is to create wholeness in self, not fracture and fragmentation, not division and separateness and brokenness, is to be connected to self. And this becomes very, very powerful, not only for men as individuals, their own purpose, their own clarity, their own journey, but also for the people in their lives. I found in my journey, when I really began to open up who I was, when I really began to apply the strength that I applied in my exterior world, and I stopped ignoring the pain and the fear that I was experiencing, I became more powerful within myself. I was able to access tools, I was able to access empowerment practices. I created much of this, I leveraged others, but I was open to them, more importantly, to become a better version of self, a more profound, still present, engaged, connected version of self. And this benefited everybody that was in my life, especially my own journey. I really began to open my heart up. And this is something that men, we don't do this enough. We have this, Andrew, how are you, my friend? We have this ability to be very intellectual and cognitive. There are so many variants to intellectuality. There's so many variants to having cognitive intelligence. And there's so many variants to intelligence itself. When we integrate our open heart intelligence to our everyday movement, our belief systems, our models of reality, our ethos, our philosophies, the way we treat others, the way we treat ourselves, the way we move through the world, I found in my own life, it changed so much. I became more adept, I became more focused, I became more present, I became more open, I became more giving, nurturing, compassionate. I became more allowing to be exposed and to just be in the moment. That's right, Tony. We overthink too much. We're not present to exactly what is going on and exactly what we are feeling and being immersed in that moment. So for me, when I see society, we have to stop assuming men are fucking strong holistically just because they have a strong or tough exterior. It's not fucking true. And most of the time, it's very not true. Oh, he's 6'2", he's 6'3", he's 6'4", he's strong, he's got broad shoulders, he's 200 pounds or 100 kilos, he's lean, he's strong in life and he's strong in business. But his relationship to self is fucked. It's disparate, it's disconnected, it's non-existent, it's emotionally desolate. His relationship with the women in his life, with his children, with people, with colleagues, is disparate and distant. How do we remedy this? We have to go deep, men. We have to explore who we are. We have to understand ourselves, and more importantly, have a yearning to do so. We have to have an intention. Now, we have to be clear, but we have to want to cultivate clarity. This is our power, to want to cultivate clarity. and to want to connect. We all wish to contribute as men, and we all wish to contribute as human beings to cultivate meaning and rich experiences in our lives. And when we do this from a place of authentic opening, from a place of clarity, a place of what we know, what we want, we attract and we bring that in our lives as well. You know, my life, and I'm going to share this story with you more and more over the next couple of weeks. Reclaim Your Kingdom, a men's immersive 3-month online journey, commences on the 8th of August 2018. And I want to share many of these experiences with you that changed my life, that gave me context, that helped me understand myself, accept myself, be at peace with myself. But I had to move through the spectrum of emotions. Now, it's easier said than done. We have to do that work. We have to put that effort in. But with the right tools and the right approach, and the right embodiment practices, we become very different, connected, healthy men. So I want to share that with you, and I will continue to share that with you over the next couple of weeks. Think about this. Let's not judge a book by its cover. Many men are strong, within and without. Many are not. Many are very disconnected from society in so many ways. It's about time we integrate that healthy masculine back into society as a whole, as a connected whole for all of us to experience. For more information, click the link above on Reclaim Your Kingdom. Share this video if it resonates with you. Share this video with those that you love and care about, and just delve deeper into self. I appreciate you. So many blessings on your journey. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you again very soon.